Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to share with you guys today's video because it's been highly requested, and as you guys know, we are expecting. And over the past the few months at the end of 2017, so basically November and December, I was not able to share our budget with you guys just because I was feeling a little bit deceitful in sharing our budget with you and talking about baby steps and things like that, because we just are not really walking through the baby steps right now. We're just in stork mode and funneling all of our money into savings. So I'm excited to be able to share again with you guys what our numbers look like, what we're doing, what our plan is with our finances, and all of that moving forward. So I figured, because it is January and I am in a new budget planner, that I would go ahead and just plan out the month and then just do a walkthrough with you guys for this month. And in February, now that I will have a good grip on what it actually looks like to lay out the budget in this notebook, then we'll go ahead and do that together in February like usual. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. It's going to be a little bit different than our usual budget videos, but that is just kind of the name of the game. So I wanted to share with you guys a few things that we're going to be changing, or that are going to be a little bit different in 2018. The first thing is that I'm going to be doing weekly updates along with our budgets. So I want to just share with you guys what's going on a week-to-week basis. Be a wins and learning opportunities video as well. So each week I'll be going over the things we did well that week, what we need to work on, and really what we're focusing on for the week going forward. And hopefully that will just help you guys to be encouraged and to get some just additional transparency for what things actually look like on a week-to-week basis, because so much happens within a month from looking at what everything looks like on paper to what actually takes place throughout the month. So that is what we're going to be sharing as well. A few things in our actual budget have changed a bit. Some things have gone down, some things are new, and so I do want to just go over a couple of those briefly before we go ahead and walk through how I'm actually planning out our budget in this budget planner. So the first thing is that our grocery budget has changed. We used to have a $400 a month grocery budget. We've cut that back to $300 a month. The main reason for that is that the teenager that was living with us has moved out, so he's no longer with us. So with one less mouth to feed, we went back to our old grocery budget. And additionally, to that, we are actually starting to shop at a bulk buy store. So the store that my husband has a card at is Sam's Club, and so we are starting to shop at Sam's Club and do a big monthly grocery haul. And then each week we're splitting up the remainder of our grocery budget, which is $200, throughout the rest of the weeks of that month. So whatever that looks like, whether it's $50 per week or whether it's $35 or $40 per week, then we split that up and just buy additional things that we need: fresh produce, additional proteins, things like almond milk, because I run out of that pretty frequently, and maybe some juices, because I'm going through a lot of juice right now, pretty much with my pregnancy. I just like juice. It's really strange because I'm not really usually a juice person. So that is the first big thing, specifically a line item that has changed within our budget. The other thing that has been a big change is that we now have life insurance, which, yay! I would feel so guilty every time I heard Dave Ramsey talk about getting life insurance on his podcast, which is constantly. I listen to it every day. So I was hearing this constantly. So it's something that we were in the works of doing for quite a bit there, and our plans are officially in place, and we'll start seeing those withdrawals towards our life insurance. So that's really exciting. That's something that's definitely a little bit of peace of mind for your family. So I encourage you guys to look into Xander Insurance if you haven't gotten life insurance, or you don't know if you have enough, or you don't know if the life insurance you have is adequate. Go ahead and take a look at that. It's a really simple, easy process. So I would encourage you to do that. And also it's Dave Ramsey recommended, so you can't really go wrong. The only other thing that has changed in our budget is the amount of sinking funds that we had. We have had in the past quite a few sinking funds, and while I absolutely love having a specific category for a specific, item that we're saving towards, a lot of those we just don't really need this year. So we did pare down some of those sinking funds, and we have streamlined that process. So you'll see what our sinking funds are for this year and how we are allocating money towards them. We're probably adding more money to our sinking funds this year, just as things are kind of changing and adjusting. one thing that we experienced with Christmas this past year, I feel like this happens every year that we've done a cash Christmas, is every year we stick to our budget, but then I'm like, I want a bigger budget. So the following year, the budget gets increased. So we're gonna bump up our Christmas budget, and that's just one example of how one of our sinking funds is changing for this year. So those are a few things that have changed within our budget, but let's go ahead and take a look into our budget notebook and really look through what January we're hoping is actually going to look like this month. Okay friends, so here we have our budget notebook, and there's a little bit of a glare, so just kind of bear with me for a second here, but I'm going to go ahead and flip it open so we can kind of get started. And before we go like too much further, because I get this question all the time, this is the Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly Planner. It is straight from Erin Condren. I'll have a link below for a coupon code if you've never purchased from her. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll address it for you there. But this is what it's called, Deluxe Monthly Planner. Ta-da! Beautiful. I haven't even put my name in here. I never write my name in my planners. I don't know why. It's kind of odd, but my name is on the front. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this is actually the first page of January. This is the first page before this lovely little like quote page, inspiration page at the beginning of the month. I do not have anything here yet. What I think I'm going to use this for is like goals. So after my husband and I do like our budget meeting, we will talk about our goals, and then I'll get this filled in so you guys will see that in our update. But this guy here is a dashboard, and again, sorry for the glare. It's the monthly bills dashboard from Erin Condren. So on one side it has the monthly bills, which I have listed out, and I've written next to it the date that each one is due, just because that really helps me when I am going through and filling things in on the monthly view. And then here at the bottom, which something I thought was really cool, is that it has it broken up into each quarter. So quarter 1 through 4 of the year, and then you can write in whatever like specific quarterly things you have due. So for instance, for us, I put registration for myself, registration for my husband for our cars, and then also our club membership for our Beachbody membership program, because that is billed quarterly. So that is billed once 4 times a year, but yeah, once every 3 months. But the registration is obviously only once a year, but it's helpful to remember that that's due in the first quarter of the year for both of our cars actually. So that is the front of that dashboard. The back is actually a savings tracker. I haven't filled this in. I am debating if I should use this for sinking funds as a sinking fund tracker, or if I should just go ahead and use a page that I created in the back for our sinking funds. What I might do with this is track our emergency fund. I think that's probably more so where I'm going to go with this little side here. So the next time you guys see the notebook, it will be updated as well. So again, we have this little inspirational quote here, and let's flip over to the month. Alright, so here is the month of January, and I did the same things that I typically do. I added a little bit of washi here for some decoration and a little quote sticker. This one says anything is possible, and it's got this beautiful like gold foiling that coordinates with the washi, and I just thought that was really nice and a good reminder for the beginning of the year that anything is possible. Whatever you set your mind to this year, you can achieve it. You just have to be willing to put in the work. So throughout our monthly spread here, I have our paydays, I have our bills that are due, I have our household like bills that are due, and then I also have our budget meetings and our sinking fund payments. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see things like, you know, more specifically, more detailed. Alright, so this is the first half here. So starting here at the first, we have a payday, rent and sinking funds. Moving on to the next week, which is the 7th, our Beachbody payment, and then Hulu. And then the following week, this is literally where like all of our bills land within like this kind of second to like third week of the month. It's like this every single month because these are all on automatic payments, but it's our car insurance, my car payment, our phone payment, our sinking fund, which is like our larger sinking fund deposit goes in. So between like the 14th and the 15th of each month, it's like, whoop, there goes like everything. It's crazy. So that's always like that, and it's just like clumped together, which I don't know, I guess if it has to be somewhere, that's a nice place for it to be, and we could always move it, but we don't. And then also my hubby will get paid this day. We'll have a budget meeting to go over the second half of the month and what our goals are. And then we also have our life insurance payment. So this is one of the new things that we are having come out of our account each month. And then moving down to the very bottom, we just have a couple of things here at the very tail end of the month, which is just our like electric bill and then another budget meeting. So let's move on to the second half and the other side of the month here. And again, most of the same stuff. So another bill that's due here for power. Let's see, my payday. We'll have our like cable payment due. Also have our renter's insurance due, another payday for myself. And then here is something that is not a bill, but what I'm starting to do with this monthly overview is look at things and make note of things that will cost us money and that we want to make sure is a part of our budget. So this one is just a little exclamation point from one of the Me and My Big Ideas sticker books, and it says Corina to the dentist because I am going to the dentist that day. I do still need to call and update our insurance with them so that they know what our new insurance is and that they can give us a quote for what that payment will be. When I have that procedure done. I'm actually having like a tooth removed, so that might be a little bit costly, but fingers crossed. We changed our insurance and it should be better than what we had before. What we had before was great, but we wanted to kind of bump it up a little bit. So hopefully a very low cost for that, but it'll be nice to know the cost before the appointment. And then on the side here, what I did is I just wrote in upcoming things that will have costs associated with them so that we can start to look at those and really talk about them through our budget meetings and plan for them with our paychecks. So one thing we wrote in here is Kiki. She does need to go to the groomer. It's been a couple of months since she's gone, so she needs to do that, and that will come out of her sinking fund. Again, this is my dentist appointment. My husband will have a dentist appointment early February, so I wrote his down also. We'll also have a gender screen in February to find out the gender of our little one, and when I made the appointment, they said we would have a copay. Again, with our insurance changeover, I'm not sure if we still will. I don't think we will, but I do want to double check on that and, you know, write it in, budget it in, if that is the case. And then we're also going to a conference. Now, most of our conference expenses are covered because my husband's a pastor, but I do like to have personal spending money because chances are I'm gonna see like a cute t-shirt I want, or you know, I'll want like extra food at some point or something like that, especially because I'm pregnant. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want extra snacks, and it will probably just be something random because that's how my cravings have gone. So those are the upcoming things that we're looking at. I also could actually add one more, which would be my brother's birthday, which would come out of our sinking fund. And also my sister-in-law's birthday. So we have a couple birthdays coming up in February too, which that would be nice to note those. All right, so we added those birthdays in. So this is basically what I'm gonna do with this sidebar each month, is just keep a tally or like a running list of upcoming things, because it's always so helpful to look forward and to be able to really plan out what it is that you have coming up and what the costs are going to be associated with those things. So once I know more of the costs of like our dental visits and things like that, I'm going to fill those in and, you know, really address those. And then for instance, like we'll create budgets for like the birthdays and things like that also, so that we know going forward into February what extra expenses we have other than just our bills. All right, friends, so let's go ahead and move on to the next page here. And this is also kind of a new section for me as far as our budget goes. This whole page here is actually what I used to put on the back of the monthly view in my old notebook. But now with this layout, there's so much more room. There's so many more opportunities to track things and really have good, I think, you know, note-taking and like documentation of how your month went. So with this first side here, what I'm planning to do is use this as a weekly review. So let me zoom you guys in again. Okay, so like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing weekly reviews and sharing with you guys our like budget updates on a weekly basis. And basically what I'm going to do with this page is just jot down those like wins and then the like things that we want to focus on for the next week, or lessons or things that we could have done better and things like that. So that's really what we're going to do here. So for each week I did mark out like basically use a box per week. So the first week we have January 1st through the 7th. The next one is the 8th through the 14th. The then we have 15th through 21st, and finally the 22nd through the 28th. Now I know that's not the end of the month, but basically by then we'll have our next paycheck, and our last bill for the month comes out on the 28th. So after that, we're basically done spending money for the month, and we'll be looking at expenses and like cash envelopes for the following month, which would be in 3 days. And then the last box here I'm using for a month in review. Now, I won't have this box, I'm sure, every month because the months and like just the way the weeks lay out, it changes from month to month. So if there are 5 weeks in a month that are actual like almost full weeks and that our paychecks, you know, really do align with, then I'll save this month in review either for like the very first page of the month, and I'll just box out a little section for that, or something else, or like I'll add a little like sticky note in here or something. But just a place for us to really highlight what our goals were and how we did throughout the month, and then, you know, what it is that we do need to work on and improve for the following month. So it's just helpful to kind of be able to recap all of this information in one place and really move forward, you know, focused on what it is that we want to achieve the following month and what we learned in that month. All right, and this brings us over to the last page of the month, which will be our last monthly budget page. So again, this is something that is probably quite familiar to you, but I wrote out our income. So what our income will be, we'll document that. Again, my husband's income is the same every month. He's salaried, but mine varies a little bit just because I am an hourly employee. And so if I work overtime, it'll be a little extra. If I, you know, take like a sick day, or, you know, take a little bit of time off but don't get paid for it, or choose to have it unpaid, then, you know, it'll vary a little bit. And then we also have a miscellaneous category as well as a place to put our total for the month. So for this total area here, we'll just put the total for our income for the month. And especially last year, it was so encouraging for us to see this total change because it changed a lot last year. Our income, since we started Dave Ramsey's plan, our income has basically tripled. So that sounds crazy, but it's been really, really encouraging and exciting to see that. So the next thing we have here is our tithes, because that is the first thing we believe you do with your income. And then the next category here is gas, and we have a little total for gas because we do both fill up our cars kind of on like an individual basis, and I like to just track that number and see kind of how it changes throughout the year. The next category we have here is cash envelopes, so the 1st through the 15th, and then the 16th through the 31st. And these categories might change a little bit, you know, depending on the month or what's going on in the month, things like that. But our categories are typically groceries, personal, household, pizza, and dates. And then we do a total here. And then that's the same for each pay period there. And we do track it by pay period, which is why it's broken up and on here twice. The next thing we have is our Stork Fund. Now this would usually be the baby step fund that we're on, or whichever baby step we're on. So for instance, you know, 3 months ago, this would have been baby step number 2, and then we'd put whatever amount it is that we are putting towards baby step number 2 this month in this line here. Because it's now our Stork Fund, we will put instead the amount that we put away into savings each month, or, you know, on a month-to-month basis. Alright guys, so this last section is a newer section also, and it is our lifestyle categories. Now some of these things we used to just pull cash out for, and I would add them to our cash envelope category here, but more and more frequently we've just been using our debit card and tracking how much we're using like from the category. So these are both our personal funds, so personal for hubby and personal for myself, haircuts for my husband, and then my work lunches. My coworkers and I usually go out like once a week, and I try to keep it around $10. Sometimes we don't go out at all, and sometimes we go out more than that, but you know, it just varies. So I do have a fund for my work lunches. And then we have a miscellaneous fund, which is just kind of like a catch-all, like random, you know, if craziness happens, then we can write that in. And our miscellaneous fund is about $100 that we just budget into our budget each and every month. So it's a line item in our budget, and if we don't use it, it just rolls over back up into our Stork Fund. If we do use it, then we just write out, you know, and specifically notate how much we did use, because we'll pretty much never use that full $100 unless things go crazy. And then we have a total section for the lifestyle section also. Now, because this page does have a little like sidebar section, I wanted to go ahead and break up our sinking funds into their own specific area. Our sinking funds can change a little bit on the month-to-month basis. They're generally the same, but I thought it would be nice to just have a specific place for them. So for our sinking funds for this year, we are tracking our anniversary, which we're still hoping to do like a little something. I mean, we'll have a newborn, so, you know, it may not be like a crazy like vacation or anything, but like a nice dinner out or weekend away would be really great. So we'll have our anniversary sinking fund, we'll have our car maintenance fund, car registration fund, our Christmas fund, our emergency fund, which is basically where all of our Stork Fund is going right now. So you'll see a lot allocated towards our emergency fund, you know, in this next few months here. And then our gifts fund for Kiki, which is our pup, and then our medical fund, which this will cover medical and dental expenses. This is also where we're going to be keeping the fund that we are basically funneling into for labor and delivery for Minnie. And then finally we have a Minnie M fund. So we are still funding an account for our Minnie. We have used some things from it. I've had to buy some maternity clothes. We did, actually, spoiler alert, we bought a stroller already, which sounds crazy, but we got a really good deal on it, so we were excited. So we've used some of this fund, but we're going to focus more on refunding that and just, you know, filling that so that we have a good fund to pull from for things as far as like getting things for nursery and anything that, you know, isn't covered from our showers and things like that. And then at the bottom here, we just have a little place to put the total for all of our sinking funds for the month. So this number will vary, again, on a month-to-month basis, just depending on what we have extra left over from our budget and what we can allocate towards our sinking funds and into savings. Alright friends, so that is our budget overview for the month of January. I hope it's been helpful. I really wanted to just kind of get my feet wet with figuring out where I wanted things laid out and looking over this new layout before I started, like, you know, dragging you guys along on the journey. So in February, I think things are going to go quite smoothly because I am quite enjoying this layout so far and how I've got things organized. So I'm excited to share that with you and walk through the budget with you guys in February. I'm also really excited to share our weekly updates with you. I think that's something that's going to be really helpful and not only keep my husband and I accountable, but really help to just, you know, encourage our community also, because really, you know, your finances, you deal with them on a day-to-day basis. At least I know I do. I'm constantly looking at our budget. So it's helpful to see how things change throughout the weeks. So again, friends, thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you very soon. Have a great day. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, definitely let me know in a comment down below. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.